Everybody, welcome back to Horse. Today's plan is to do a let's play on the Ascent of Olympus as I grind for Kirin fragments. This is just going to be more of a general fun let's play rather than a guide or a tutorial because I don't plan on stopping and really explaining why I'm taking all of the steps or choices, making a lot of the choices that I do. I will be talking through my process and thinking out loud as I play. But if you're new to the Ascent or if you're struggling and you'd really like some extra tips, more detailed strategies, breakdowns, I highly suggest that you go and check out the Ascent of Olympus forum that's on an international server, or if you go and check out the Horse Discord server, that way then that you can kind of understand some of the steps that I might be taking, as again, I might not fully explain why I'm doing what I'm doing. I just thought I would go ahead and record my process as I grind for these fragments. That way, if you want something playing in the background that you can listen to while you're playing the Ascent, or if you're blepping your horses, then you can just have this on in the background just for something to listen to. So yes, my plan is to grind for Kirin fragments as I want to get several copies of Kirin. I know I've said several times that I absolutely hate working the Dragon Divines, and that is still very much true. However, and I will show you a tip on how you can more easily work your Dragon Divine horses, but the reason why I want several copies of Kirin is that his perk is that he gives you 1 day of VIP when his perk triggers, when you fill up the meter. I did already have 1 copy of him that I won from Luck Items several months ago, but if you want enough Kirin Divines that are triggering throughout the month to get you 30 days of VIP so that you'd never have to pay for VIP again, you would need, I think it's 15 to 17 copies of Kirin, because he fills up his meter about every, I want to say it's 12 days, something like that, but I know you need around 15 to 17 Kirin to make sure that you're getting 30 days of VIP throughout the month. I don't know that I'll be getting 15 or 17 Kirin while he's here in the Ascent. We still have 20 days, which is a lot of time, but I might put some passes towards the Christmas event, and then I'll, ironically enough, need some passes to renew my VIP at the start of the month. So I don't know. I'm just going to try to grind for as many fragments as I can and see how many I can get. I am disappointed in the rest of the slot, though, as I already have all 3. Well, I have all 4, but of course, Kirin, I want duplicates of him. However, these other 3 are just useless for me as duplicates. Grails in general, duplicates are useless. The reindeer, I don't work the reindeer that I have because you're not going to rank highly in the reindeer Skajoring rankings unless you increase their skills with passes. And Christmas Ghost offers a ghost companion, which I don't want. And again, I don't like working the Dragon Divines. Here's where we get to the Dragon Divine tip. If you think the idea of working 16, 17 Kirin every day is exhausting, it is. There's no way around that. But there is a bit of a faster way. Most of you who are on Classic probably already know of the 2 tricks you can use to kind of skip through the dragon animation. The first trick is once you click one of the action buttons, you can just refresh the page and that will skip the action. The second trick is to click your action, click off to the side. And this is why I don't like this, because sometimes no matter what you do, that animation will hang up. So you click an action button, click off to the side, and you skip it. But yeah, sometimes that action, the animation will hang up if your connection just decides to freeze up for a bit, or if Horse does or whatever. And also it gets repetitive having to move your mouse hand back and forth. Even though I don't move my entire wrist, I can just, move my mouse with my fingers, but that still gets exhausting after a while, right? So my favorite way to work my dragon horses is to open them up into mobile. I don't work these 2 divines in particular. I don't work these dragons every day. I don't work them at all because I don't need their perk. I only work the ones that I really want to work. But hop over onto the mobile version, which you can easily do on your PC or your laptop. Just type in m.horse.com into your browser as opposed to just horse. You have to put the M in front of the horse in order to get to the mobile version. So click on the star here. This brings up the dragon fight buttons, and you will get a pop-up, you notice, that you'll have to close. But the nice thing about the mobile version is that you don't have to move your mouse at all. So my mouse, the cursor right now is on the flame, whichever one this is, the attack. It doesn't matter which of these you pick, okay? These are totally random in the outcomes. You can pick any of these. You can pick the same fight option every single time if you want to. Their drop rate for their perk is set regardless, no matter what you do. So I'm just going to leave my mouse over whichever one of these buttons I want, and I'm never going to move it. If you have to, you could probably try zooming out your window just a little bit, but you shouldn't have to. So I'm just going to click attack, just keep clicking it really fast. And look how much faster that is as opposed to classic version. Both of these dragons have the same amount of lives, but it was a little bit quicker to work through Pendragon. So I much prefer to fight my dragons on mobile, and then what I do, I hop back over to classic, and then I'll go through and I'll do a lesson with them or put them to bed or whatever. I don't bother comping mine because I don't want to have to scroll down to enter them into competitions, and I don't want to have to zoom out my browser window any further than I have to. So there you go. That's your tip for today on working the dragon horses. Let's go ahead and get started with the ascent. I am going to put a 20-minute time limit on this because I don't know how many passes I feel like spending today, or I should say I don't know how long I'll be able to put up playing, because I do get a bit burned out by playing the ascent. As much as I love this, it does get a bit tiring to play multiple games in a row, especially when I'm not excited about the fragments on any of these other horses. I think that's why this particular round has been very draining. I think this is the first round that I've ever tried getting multiple copies of a divine before, but it's just been very not exciting, very uninspiring, because I don't care about these other fragments. And of course, Kirin, the one that I want, his fragments have been offered few and far between. So let's get started. I already looked earlier, and I'm pretty sure I do not want to use a drachma on this round because Kirin fragments are only offered as a jackpot on threshold 2. He might be offered some fewer fragments on these lower thresholds, but I don't know that. I don't want to take the chance and waste a drachma. I only spend my drachmas on rounds that have at least 25 fragments for him. And I never buy drachmas at all. Even if this was a jackpot drachma round, I would not actually buy a drachma. These are saved drachmas from games. Like I said, his fragments are few and far between. That's why I have 3 saved up and they're just sitting here. I only buy obols because they're just 30 passes, whereas a drachma is 90. You can play 3 obols for the price of 1 drachma game. And you're still earning fragments along the way unless you're constantly, I'm going to pick the divine card. Unless you're constantly losing early on in threshold 1, which that should not happen. If you're always losing early on in threshold 1, please go and check out some of those resources that I mentioned, the Horse Discord server or the Ascent of Olympus forum, for some tips and tricks, because it's only rarely ever do I lose on threshold 1. So, yep. By buying drachmas, you're getting a lot more fragments for the passes that you're spending. Even though drachmas are pretty much a guaranteed win, buy the obols. Let's see. So this kind of sucks here. I don't do the math myself unless it's just 1 point that's required when you have 3 different abilities up here. I just let the game do the math for me. That's why it looks like I'm just randomly clicking cards. I'm just clicking combinations until I get 100%. You know, I'm gonna let the game do the heavy lifting for me. I kind of wish I had picked the divine card, but that's okay. Also, in some of those resources, there are players who have found out, or I guess they've kept track of how many abilities you need for each room, or at least for each threshold. That way you can plan further ahead. I'm actually going to use Fuji and Kamar because I want to save the energy on my best card courts here. That way you can better plan ahead. What cards should I grab for my rewards, or should I level up my cards? But for me, it's just faster, I suppose, to just go through this on my own without having to try and remember X amount of abilities are required for the middle of threshold 2, X amount of abilities are required for threshold 3 or whatever. And I sort of have an idea anyway. Like I kind of know that on the middle of threshold 2, I really need some 4-star cards because even leveled up 3-star cards are, I'm going to start struggling with those. So you can go and look up to see how many abilities and points you need, but again, for me, that's just not how I want to play. Sometimes I regret not doing that because I think, well, maybe I wouldn't struggle so much in my decision making and maybe I wouldn't lose on some of the, I wouldn't lose on times where I probably could have won just because I made a bad choice, but you know, you want to have fun when you're playing with it. I mean, if I lose out on a few fragments just because I don't want to take the time to look up how many abilities are required, then, that's just on me. So let's see. I want to... Well, we're on the top of threshold 2. When we restart the next threshold, when we get to threshold 3, the abilities required goes back down a little bit. So the room's going to be easier. I think in that case, I'm going to level up both of these, I guess. Sure, we're going to do that. Yeah, that's 9. Okay, we're going to do that. Now, I was just going to say, would I want to level up one of these cards or would I rather give energy for quartz? I'm going to level up Percival because he has full energy, and then I'm going to take the difficult path. I think when I had first started the Ascent, oh, that sucks, 90.9 crush fingers, yay, we won. Okay, when I first started the Ascent, oh crap, I only have 2 cards. I used to always pick the easy room, the easy path, if the fragments on the difficult path were not ones that I wanted or cared about, but now I pretty much always pick the difficult path because the rewards are better. Unless, of course, the easier path does have fragments that I want. Now, this time I'm going to definitely pick the Divine card because I need energy. And when you pick a new Divine card, he gets full energy. Kirin? Nope, Ghost. So that means Kirin fragments are only offered on this difficult path, but I'm just curious to see what fragments are offered here. We're going to go ahead and pick the difficult path. I have so far... I think I did say I've won... Crap. I need energy. I think I did say that I've won 1 copy of Kirin from the Ascent. That took me 900 passes. And then I've... how many obols have I bought? I'm looking at a chart that I have of tally marks, but then I started adding a column on the side. So my column doesn't go in order, so I don't actually know how many. That sucks. I think I lost 15 Kirin fragments there. I don't know how many passes I've spent since then. Oh well, that's okay. I'll know how many I've spent in total, and then I have gotten all three of these again. So even though I've already won a Christmas Ghost, I've got another 2. And the thing with Christmas Ghost is that I'm getting off track here, but he's a repeat. We had him, I think, back in September in the Ascent, and that's how I got him the first time. So not only is he a useless duplicate, but he's a useless duplicate that we've seen twice now. So yeah, okay. I'm gonna make a little tally mark, a little hash mark here, keeping track. And I almost want to zoom out my window again because look, here's my rewards, but I almost have to scroll down to, make sure I'm leveling up a 3-star card and not a 2-star card because I generally do not level up 2 stars. It's just not worth it. And if you'll kind of notice, my strategy is to always level up your best card first. In this case, it's a 3-star card. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna have to, whoops, I didn't mean to click them. I have to use both of my blue cards. Teal cards? I don't know, whatever color you want to call it. They're teal, they're aqua to me. They're 3-star cards, that's what they are. But I tend to call most of this stuff by their color. Like the abilities, don't ask me what blue and red stand for because I don't remember. You could look in the breeder's manual if you want to know what they're called, but I just call it blue and red. I have no idea which one's intelligence and intelligence is the only one I can remember. I generally do not get the boosters as a reward because this just lasts you for one turn. Whereas these crappy little 2-star cards, at least they have energy, right? But in that case, I'm just going to pick the booster because I already have a full set of cards here. So, and none of them are level up. None of them get me to 100%, but that booster doesn't help either. Please win. Thank you. Kirin Fragments. I need to level up. Thank you. Yeah. See, this is where if I knew the point requirements ahead of time, you know, that's one of those you should really sit down and count that up. But, you know, I said I didn't want to do that because we're focused on making this kind of fast, I suppose. Especially when you're just sitting here and you're grinding for a lot of fragments. I'm going to be bold and level up, even though Heracles really needs some energy. I think I just looked at that. I did. Those are 2 Kirin fragments. I do that quite a bit too. I tend to look several times at the fragments because I'll look and then I'll forget. And I think the reason why that happens is that when you're going through this pretty quickly, especially threshold 1 and 2 go by very fast. So I kind of forget that, oh, I'm in threshold 2. The fragments that I thought I looked at were for threshold 1. That's why I tend to look several times. Okay, we're gonna use that. I need, yes, we need energy. And then I need 4-star card very soon. Oh gosh, this sucks. Okay, but thankfully we won. There's nothing worse. I don't know. I was going to say there's nothing worse than losing when you have more than 94%. Losing at when you have 90% or more success chance is terrible. But also, fully running out of all energy on your cards is terrible too. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure which is worse. I think probably the former, because really I don't often run out of energy on all of my cards. That's very rare that that happens to me. I am going to level up. Maybe I should have gotten the energy. I don't know. Kirin fragments. Okay, now we do need energy. Ooh. It's 9. Oh, 8, 9. Yeah, I can use a booster, which this is a good tip too, by the way. You can use a booster on its own. This can come in handy if all of your cards run out of energy. If you have a booster, just use the booster. Even if the booster, let's say, is not the ability that's required, maybe the required ability here was 9 blue as opposed to the purple that I have, even though I'll have a 0% chance success of getting through, your game will not be stuck. And that's just the main point that I wanted to make, because I think the very first time you play the Ascent, when you run out of energy on all of your cards, you kind of panic because you think that you're stuck. You're not stuck. You'll probably lose unless for some reason you're lucky and you did stock up on a million boosters. But again, your game is not stuck. That's the important thing. If you're at a point where you're out of boosters entirely and all of your cards are without energy, this button, the confirm check mark, will actually be available for you to click. You'll have a 0% chance of getting through because you have no boosters and no energy on your cards. But again, you're not stuck. I know this because I tested it on the test server because I just wanted to see what would happen if that was possible to happen, because I thought, oh no, it's not possible. The rewards that you get, you'll get either a booster or energy, or you'll get a divine card, which is energy. There's no way you can end up at a point where you have nothing to play with. No, it is possible. And I think the way that happened is that I did purposely use up all the energy on my cards, and I'm going to level up Rehua. I used up all their energy, and then just before I ran out of energy, I think maybe I ended up choosing a level up. I lost those Kirin fragments. I chose a level up instead of energy or a booster, so I lost on purpose, but it was the test server, so I didn't care. I just wanted to see, yay, we've got 30 fragments. We are going to use a drachma. I was hoping I could use at least 1 drachma during this. I have the same drachma hand every single time. I never switch these horses out. When I first started playing, it was just because these are three of my favorite divines. EO is probably my favorite divine next to Jade. But then I did realize once I started playing this more that these three cards fully leveled up will give me 100% on every single room. I don't need boosters at all to finish the last room. And I've completed all of the Ascent trophies, which includes the Greek hero. You have to get through win X rooms with a Greek hero or a Greek divine. I finished all of them, thankfully, except for I have to win, what is it? Win X number of games with an obol and win X number of games with the drachma. Those are the only two trophies that I have. Thankfully, I finished the family trophy where you have to get 4 cards, 5 cards, 6 cards in a single divine series in your hand. I finally finished that one. That one took a while. It took many drachmas and just a long time. It was really difficult. It was so hard. I think I ended up finishing it with the solars, actually. And I had tried several times on purpose with the solars because the solars, I have the most cards, I think, from that set. And I also have several cards that are higher levels. But I couldn't, oh, do I want to level up EO? We're going to level up EO. I couldn't win with it. I couldn't get those cards offered. And it's kind of the curse of having too many divines. I had too many divines so that they were just, all the choices were spread out of the cards that were being offered for me. So I was not getting the solars offered to me. And then someone had mentioned trying with the mythological divines, because if you have a lot of Greyfell, the Greyfell cards are, I think, all 2-star, and you get lots of the lower level cards offered when you first start playing. But I only have 4 Greyfells, I believe, and I just couldn't get the mythological horses offered. I also tried once with the waters because I have the full water set, and several of those, I say several, but I only mean like one or just a couple, actually. A couple of the water cards are low star. And I thought, well, maybe that would be a good pick. I can start with the higher level cards, and then that means that the lower star cards should hopefully be offered quite often, right? No, they weren't. So then I don't even know if I purposely started with the drachma hand one time. I don't remember how it happened, but it seemed like it was just on accident that I ended up winning with the solars. I want to say it was an obol round, but maybe it wasn't. I'm not sure. It was a while back now. I just know I won that trophy with the solars, and it took forever, and I really didn't like it because it was just down to luck. That's why I'm talking about that trophy so much. It was not very fun to complete. 1, 2, 3. And you'll probably notice that with this drachma round, I only picked one other card as a reward. And that's really just a backup in case, let's say Mars was not enough to get me to 100%. He was just shy. I had 96% chance of getting through. I wouldn't want to waste energy from my Courageous and EO just to get 4%, but Achilles could easily get me there. So that's why I usually pick just maybe one backup card if I need it. And then it just kind of depends on how the rounds are going. If I have lots of energy on my cards and I get energy offered quite frequently, then I don't worry about it as much. Oh, they're all leveled. See, right there, I can save energy on Mars, and I can just use Achilles instead. Not that it matters. We have 2 more rooms. I don't have to take energy at all. I don't have to take any rewards at all now because they're all fully leveled and they have enough energy to get me through. So long as I don't misclick and forget to click one, which has happened before. And then I lost, and I was really mad. I was really, really mad when that would happen. The longer I play, the sloppier as I get. Like if you think this looks sloppy as I'm playing now, just a few rounds, you just wait. I can get even sloppier when I start to get a bit burned out and tired. So hopefully that doesn't happen here. I win Kirin Fragments. Yay. All right. Almost to another drachma. Oh, hey, we can use a drachma here. Yep. We're just going to use this drachma again. And I don't write down how many drachmas I've used. I just write down the obols that I buy. I'm just more concerned about passes that I spend. The 900 passes on Kirin, I think, was fairly normal. Do I want to say normal, average? I guess, especially, I think he could have been cheaper if his fragments were offered more often. That's the only reason that it took that many. On the last round, how many in the last rotation did it take me? I spent 900 passes and I got all 4 divines from the last rotation. But that's because I had quite a few fragments for some of those already. And the one that I wanted, which that rotation just ended, what, a week or 2 ago, and I've already forgotten what divines were even offered. That's terrible, but you know. When all these divines come at you quite quickly, it's just easy to lose track. Please tell me I'm not the only one who loses track. 5, 6, 7. We have to use 2 cards. Okay. I'm going to level up again. And if you'll notice this time, I haven't taken any cards as rewards. I just haven't really felt like I needed to because I'm getting energy enough. Now this time, I have no choice but to take a divine card. I'm not gonna waste a turn on a booster. Ooh, Kirin, 10 fragments. I'm happy with 10 fragments. That's sad. I'd rather have more. Give me more. I want more. Sing it, Ariel. Okay, 100%. I need energy. Thank you. Whoop. Energy. Make sure I click them both. I've done that before too, where I didn't really pay attention to my clicks to make sure that I fully clicked the card, and when I have +2 energy for 2 cards, I may have accidentally only clicked the one. Ooh, Mars, you really need levels. He only has 3. 8. Oh, I want Eo and Pendragon. Yeah. Oh, thank you. See, I wish these cards were highlighted a bit better. The only way I can tell this is highlighted, you can't see the blue that much, is because both of these cards are highlighted. So, just a few things I wish would change about the Ascent a little bit. And yes, the formatting is a problem because as it is to play, I have to zoom my browser window out to 90% if I want to see this. And then if I'm on my laptop, I have to zoom out to, I think, 60% just because everything it's too tight. And it just, I don't like having to constantly scroll down. It's just not fun. And it gets really tiring after a while when you're constantly having to do that. Okay, Mars still needs level up. Have I skipped those? I think I'm actually going to pick some boosters because if I don't get level up on him... Okay, thank you. We got the level up. That complaining helped. I was going to say, if I don't get him level up, we're going to be SOL. We will not get past the top room. Okay, we're good. I don't need the energy, but we're going to take it anyway because you got to take something. I could just say, no, thank you. I'm good. Yay, Kirin Fragments. How many do I have total? And there's a drachma. I have 800 fragments total, and I just realized that we're at the 20-minute mark. There are no jackpot fragments for Kirin on the top of this threshold, nor in any of these other rooms, which is really disappointing. Oh, whoop-de-doo, 5 fragments. Hopefully there's more offered. Hopefully I'll actually get to them. It's made me really mad a few times when fragments for Kirin were not offered at all up through thresholds 1 or 2, and then I would get to threshold 3, and I would look, and there would be 15 fragments offered on... What is it? The top of the third path, there would be 15 fragments for him. And then I would lose either before I could get to those fragments or I would lose in that room. So I felt like it was just a waste of a play to play that almost that entire room and not get Kirin fragments because I don't want fragments for these horses. I just, yeah, small, stupid problems, but you know, I don't need them. But anyway, since that is it for the Kirin Fragments today, we played about 20 minutes. I think I'll just call it a day for now. If you guys would like to see any more Let's Plays on the Ascent, do let me know. I don't know that I would do a full guide or a breakdown video because while I am fairly proficient at the Ascent, I don't know that a lot of the numbers behind it just kind of go over my head. And the way that I play it is kind of more by feel and muscle memory. I think I said earlier that I kind of know that, okay, when I get to top of threshold 1, I definitely need leveled up 3-star cards. When I get to threshold 2, you really need to get, some orange cards because your 3-star cards are just not going to be enough. But if you wanted to look further into breakdowns, there's much better breakdowns where you can find actual numbers and better guides on, when you should pick level up as opposed to energy, or energy as opposed to level up or something. But I'm happy to bring you all along as I grind for fragments on this, if you just want something to put on in the background while you're grinding as well. So thank you all so much for joining me today. Good luck on the rest of the ascent, especially if you plan on getting Kirin fragments. Hopefully you get more offer than I do, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye.